Welcome guys, how are you doing? For those who have been part of this channel, I say a very big thank you, and if you are yet to be part of this channel, simply tap on that subscription button and the red notification icon bell. That will automatically make you part of this channel, and as you support this channel, you will also be supported. As you know that PDP and APC and the rest of the party, they had a huge fight right there in Kogi State, as every one of them brought out someone to represent them, either governorship or senatorial seat. A prominent female politician was burnt to death by rampaging political thugs in Kogi State on Monday. This is the story out there, stoking further concerns about the violence that enveloped the state governorship election on Saturday, as not fully abated with the conclusion of the exercise. Salome Abu, 60 years old, the People's Democratic Party women leader of Ochadamu Ward in Ofu local government area, was sleeping in her home when political thugs set the building alight shortly before sunset on Monday. Kogi police spokesperson William Aya told a popular newspaper the politician remains, which were burnt beyond recognition, had been taken to a mortuary for autopsy. Mr. Aya said, "It's a very unfortunate incident, and the commissioner has ordered a thorough investigation to ensure that all those involved do not escape justice," the police spokesperson said. There are fears the death could aggravate the widespread violence that killed many in the governorship election in the state on Saturday. Civic groups that monitor the process in Kogi State rejected its outcome, citing alarming violence and electoral crimes rates linked to the exercise. News of Mrs. Abu's death permeated social media commentary on Monday night, and by Tuesday morning, it had morphed into partisan political bickering. Supporters of the PDP said Mrs. Abu was killed by suspected APC thugs, and they claim that these thugs are loyal to All Progressive Congress, APC, and Governor Yaya Bello. Kingsley Fanwo, a spokesperson for Mr. Bello, did not immediately return calls and text messages seeking comments about Mrs. Abu killing, and the PDP claimed that our assailants were unleashed by the governor. Two residents in the community who spoke to Premium Times said those who burnt Mrs. Abu to death were political thugs, but they were unable to immediately link the suspects to a political party. On Tuesday morning, the police gave Premium Times their account of what transpired in the community. Mr. Aya, a deputy police superintendent, said a preliminary police investigation of what led to Mrs. Abu's killing showed that it was a reprisal attack for the killing of an APC supporter in that community. In his words, he said, "There is a misunderstanding between the parties, between people," and that is what he has to say, between Gowon Simeon and Awolu Zakari, both members of the community. He said, Mr. Aya said Mr. Simeon stabbed Mr. Zakari in the chest and he bled to death almost instantly. The officer said Mr. Simeon was a known PDP supporter in the community, while Mr. Zakari identified with the APC. After Mr. Zakari was confirmed dead by a medical doctor, his associates gathered for a reprisal attack against Mr. Simeon. They arrived at his uncle's house where they believed he was hiding and set it on fire. Mr. Aya said, unfortunately, Mrs. Abu was sleeping inside the house and she was burnt alive, the officer said. He added that 3 other houses were burnt in the neighborhood, but it was unclear whether they were additional casualties from those attacks. Mrs. Abu was described as a prominent PDP grassroots organizer in the community, campaigned heavily for Musa Wada, the party candidate, at the November 16 poll that saw Mr. Bello declared winner for a second term. It was so callous and marked a return to barbaric nature where life has become brutish. PDP chief spokesperson Kola Olugbodinyan told Premium Times by telephone Tuesday morning. They have rigged the election, killed and intimidated our people, yet they are still going after individuals to maim and to kill and to destroy their houses. Mr. Olugbodinyan mourned Mrs. Abu and said she is a courageous woman who was driven by her own conviction. As a woman leader, she dedicated her life to the success of the party. Mr. Olugbodinyan said she was killed for a cause she believed in. We cautioned Governor Bello to rein his thugs and stop the mindless killing that engulfed the state throughout the campaign, he added. Premium Times could not immediately reach Mrs. Abu's family for comment. Some residents have fled the community following the incident and intensified police deployment from Lokoja, the state capital. That is the story. So guys, it's a shame. This is so sad. I think it is not only about breaking from Nigeria. A lot of people are sick, and most of the time I try to differentiate those people. I say we have typical people living in that contraption called Nigeria, and we have exceptional people living in that contraption called Nigeria. The typical people are the ones that you see mirrored in the Senate. You see them mirrored in any political office, either the executive arm of the government or just name any part of it. They are the ones you see around. They are the one mirrored there. It's quite unfortunate that people have to kill one person for a political position. What a shame. And the governor, they remain in that seat on blood because they care less. They govern the country with some satanic and demonic forces. That is what I see here, because every time they step out, blood must be shed. What a shame. I wouldn't know why this is so. This administration is so full of blood. I'm talking about the past 4 years to present, not because there haven't been a lot of death and bloodshed in Nigeria. Yes, there have been a lot of that ever since we claimed that we're in democracy. We know that a lot of things have happened. It's just that some of them have not been reported. But this time around, I think breaking away from Nigeria is not just a solution. We really need to go back to the drawing board and rearrange our value system. Life means nothing. People fear no law, even if the presidency decides to flout court ruling. So what else? Life means nothing to certain people. They act so barbaric. They are so backwards in their way of doing things. They care less about the rule of law. Why? Because the people at the head are thieves. They are criminals, and they go scot-free whenever they engage themselves in certain activities. What a shame. This woman has lost her life all because of politics, whilst the top dogs that are involved in this are safe and sound because they have security around them. But she has lost her life for nothing. Some might say, oh, she died for what she believed in. There is nothing she believed in. She was only bribed with some few amount of money to become the woman leader, and she speaks and says things that she doesn't even believe or trust, unless she's also corrupt. But unfortunately, she's dead, she's late, and many other. Even this man's nephew died too. I'm talking of Dino Melaye. That one is gone, wasted. Dino Melaye is alive. Yaya Bello is alive, and the rest of them, they are alive. Why? Because they have enough money to secure themselves, while you have given yourself to be a political thug. You have given yourself to be wasted, and that is what it is. What a shame. It's time for us to stop being tools in the hands of these criminals that are in control of affairs in that nation, in that contraption called Nigeria. So guys, that's what it is for now. If you're not part of this channel, it's very simple. Tap on that subscription button and the red notification icon bell on your right. It's free. That automatically makes you a member of this channel. Thanks for stopping by.